Coach, can you speak to the 2-3 zone they were running and why it gave you guys so much trouble?
Well, I think we bogged down at times, not moving the ball. I thought we did have at the time we made the run the second half, we moved the ball, we got any shot we wanted. This game got down to, knocking some free throws in, some silly fouls. We took 19 more field goals than they did, 19 more, and only made one more field goal. That's a pretty amazing stat. So what we didn't do against the zone is we didn't drive gaps. A lot of times we were passing the ball around too much and we were a little bit too passive. So we talked during the week about playing inside out, whether it be a post feed or driving into the paint, then finding the extra player. It took us too long to get that going, but at the same time, it's not like we weren't getting pretty good looks. It's we have to make some shots. 63 was enough, but it would have taken 70 plus our free throws to win this basketball game. And I know these shots are going to fall for these guys. You got TJ and these guys that are going to definitely step up and make shots, and that's just going to it's going to come. It's going to come.
And the free throws, that's just one of those nights, or?
Well, once again, it's something that no one's trying to miss. Guys are working hard. We've got to understand that there's certain times in the game. I think we missed 5 straight when we had a chance. I think we were down 5, and we missed 5 straight. So that's big. I wouldn't point to that as why you lost the game, but obviously it takes the wind out of your sails a little bit because you're right where you want to be, and you have a chance to win the basketball game, and you miss a couple free throws. So, the guys are going to pick it up. We're going to put the time in, and we have put the time in. And it's just reps. It's just repetition. Some of that's game repetition, and not getting so down if you miss 1 or 2. I think that can happen with some of the new guys at this level. I think that always happens naturally, and I think over time that's not going to be an issue.
Second half, you guys were cut the lead. I think it was maybe like 5 or 6. I guess what were you guys able to do to get back into that point? And I guess what did Furman do to prevent you from getting over the hump and taking the lead eventually?
Well, we were aggressive. I thought we were more aggressive on the defensive end. I thought we were more aggressive on the offensive end, getting into the lane, and we executed. The one thing that we have to definitely get better is carrying it over from either the huddle or practice into the games. That's a big, and I think that, I'm not the only coach or the only team that has problems with execution, but when you have some young guys on the floor, it takes time, and one guy can break down. We have to understand how to execute and carry stuff over into the game, especially from the huddles. I don't think there was nothing in the game that really took us by surprise, but executing is a different story, and that's where we're trying to get to. We've got to prepare like we're going to win, and that's important. This was an exam week. I didn't think we had a particularly great week in practice, and sooner or later we got to put our foot down. I've been part of a lot of teams where you talk about that. You have to put your foot down, and you have to understand how hard you got to work to improve and how hard you got to work to win a basketball game. Furman's a good basketball team. They're going to have a good year in their league. They're physical. 32 gave us fits tonight. He played really, really well. He stepped up. We're going to have guys step up over the course of the year. But, good basketball teams from here on out, and we have to understand what goes into winning each night out, whether it's a practice or obviously game day.
When you lose a team, you lose IUPUI, you lose to Furman, they're not household names, and players understand that. Do you feel concerned when you lose to, even though they may be good teams, but if they lose to the name more than the team itself, do you get concerned that they're going to, hang their heads and just...
Well, I think it's natural. I think, I said this at halftime, let's see what we're made of. We're down 10. Let's really see what we're made of. We're on our home floor. Let's see if we're tough enough to come back and win this basketball game. They showed some fight. There's no question we showed some fight. What concerns me is when we're not fighting hard. And I think we've learned enough lessons now to understand what goes into preparation and what goes into execution in a basketball game. So that's always going to be my, how I get a feel for things. I'm going to make sure that we're understanding and learning from our mistakes and trying to move forward. It's not always going to be pretty. We have a lot of new guys at this level, So it's not going to be pretty. So I'm trying to gauge whether we're getting better each day. And we talked about it the last 2 times out. You know, I didn't feel good with our week of preparation at IUPUI. I didn't feel good this week, and hopefully we've learned those lessons and we're going to put them behind us and start bringing it come practice time. So I think at this time of the year you can get into a mindset that you're working harder than everybody and you're tired and, you know, man, I'm homesick, and there's a lot of things that go into being a college student. We got to understand how great it is to be a Hilltopper, and that's what we've talked about a lot here lately, and it's time to start working hard enough to get over that hump, and I feel like these guys are. I know they are. It's just taking some time.
Players talked a lot about how it's a mental thing that they can't, I guess, they're beating themselves with the phrase that they use. I guess, is that something you can teach them not to do, or is that just something they need to figure out themselves?
It's just time. It's time. It's experience watching tape. It's understanding what we have to get better at in practice and actually getting better at in practice, and then obviously you got to carry it over into the game. But we put ourselves in position, and we had, you know, you can't turn the ball over in a 5-point game toward the end of the game. You can't play a long, good possession on defense. You got the crowd going a little bit, and then have a silly foul at the end of the shot clock. Those are things where you're beating yourself, and we have continually done that. Now tonight, I don't know if we did that as much as we have in the past. You know, we didn't have the careless turnovers over time. This is the first time we've had a positive assist-to-turnover ratio all year. So, you know, you got some positives. We had a bunch of offensive rebounds. You know, so we did some things tonight, but when you have the team that we have, there's not a huge margin for error. So you can't take possessions off at the end of the game. You can't miss free throws at the end of the game. You can't turn it over. You can't have silly fouls. Those are things that we're talking about and working on daily, and I know over time we're going to get better.
Is that all, guys? All right, thanks. Thanks, everyone.